Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming to protectourveterans.org. It was a great weekend, but it's going to be a better week. Why is it going to be a better week? Because you, my friends, are going to protectourveterans.org tonight to donate. Thank you. My fellow Americans, thank you for coming on and listening to the 4-1 Girl podcast. I'm your host, Callan Hunter, and I appreciate it very, very much for downloading the podcast. Last week was obviously Veterans Day, and we had a whole host of activities going on where it was difficult to get the podcast on. I was on a bunch of everybody else's podcast, so I wasn't able to get one out, but I'm in the studio tonight, and Mr. Cavallo over there, he's got the soundboard, so I appreciate it, Mikey. And we're going to get this done. So, everybody, I started this morning and I says, what do I want to do for the podcast? And I had so many different ideas, and most of those ideas I will bring across later on down the line. But I had to just go over some of the things that are just blowing my mind. I always said I was going to do a little bit of sports. I was going to do some politics. Obviously with my psychology and my theology background, that's one of the reasons why I started this. But when I turned on the news this morning, I was just worried about people nipping at the bud. This country isn't as split as you think it is. Okay? The country would say 50-50 after the election in 2020. Now, I would say it's about, in reality, 65-35. With the president having an approval rating of about 35%, you can see the split there. So I thought about it and I says, what exactly makes the country so diverse? Is it we're a big melting pot? Of course we are. But you have a bunch of bullies. And the bully isn't always the guy with the numbers or the girl with the numbers. The bully is the person with the loudest voice. Okay? Now, from my research, the country is about 8% LGBTQ. And some of the letters that seem to change every day. I don't know. I started looking this up. Obviously, you have to do it. And listen, my philosophy is you can be whatever you want to be. This is a free country. But what you can't be is a bully. So if somebody from that group doesn't like something, you can't rush to the president of a television network and say, you have to change it, you have to change it, you have to change it. Well, you know what? I'm not telling you you have to change. Why should you tell me I have to change? But they have the loudest voice. And I said, the loudest voice wins. That's something that needs to stop. Okay? We're a melting pot. It's just not what the color of our skin is or where you come from. Let me tell you, this country is the least racist country on earth. It's the 1% bad apples that make it change. And I'm telling you, I will do a whole show on racism someday. But I was an athlete in college. And let me tell you, I was in the military. And those two organizations are the least racist organizations on the planet. Okay? So I don't want to... There's isolated incidents. There'll always be a bunch of jackasses to try to spoil things. But you know what? That's something you can change. You can get rid of the jackasses. Or you can tell them this isn't going to fall anymore. Okay? But sometimes it's hard to remove the bully. Just remember that. So anyway, why did I get on this particular topic? We had big trial. We got two big trials going on right now. And let's first start off with the trial in Wisconsin. And we'll get right back after that, right after this message. Thanks for helping to sponsor the show by listening to our messages, but I was talking about what happened in Wisconsin. Okay? I'm not going to get into it, but let me tell you the story. If it wasn't for video, that poor kid would be sitting in a jail cell for the rest of his life. Why? Because all these Hollywood actors and actresses, all these politicians who didn't follow the case, decided to stick their nose in. Well, let me tell you a little story. Okay? People, shut your mouths. If you don't know the law, or you don't know what's going on, just shut your mouth. I'm so sick and tired of Hollywood trying to tell us what to do, where to go. Let me ask you a question. You look at people from Hollywood. How many people have college degrees? How many people have master's degrees? How many people actually know what the hell they're talking about? In Hollywood, in California, politicians. These California politicians were making mask mandates, but they're going out billionaire weddings, Nancy Pelosi, not wearing a mask the whole time. Or go to wine tastings. She didn't wear a mask at the wine tasting. The servants. Not the servers, the servants. As Pelosi didn't look at him twice when they were passing out food. Disgusting. Okay? Believe me, I was in college. I was a bartender. I was a waiter. I did everything I could to get where I am today. I didn't have Miss Holier Than Now. My father wasn't a mayor or a politician. Please. Or Gavin Newsom. Mr. Perfect here. Okay? What did he do? Nice big dinner? 20 people not wearing a mask? But God forbid you're a small business owner and you're not wearing a mask. They're going after you. They're coming in like stormtroopers. Disgusting. So let me tell you this story. Gavin Newsom. The kid's not a hero. Not a hero by any means. He saw his town, you don't go grab a gun. Okay? That's the job of the police. Job of the National Guard. Okay? Even though when the President Trump said, hey, look, I want the National Guard to come in, and the governor of Wisconsin's like, no. So what happens? People take matters into their own hands. I'm sorry, son. Did you shoot somebody in self-defense? Yes. Did you shoot somebody that wasn't the same race as you? No. There were 3 white guys. a pedophile and 2 wife beaters. Both the wife beaters in jail. And the pedophile who raped kids ages 7 to 12. Do I want to say the world's better off without those 3? Yes. Do I want to say I want to see 17-year-old kids grabbing weapons and going out shooting individuals? No. Not no, but hell no. HE double hockey sticks, no. Son, you were defamed by a president of the United States. You were defamed by governors, by Hollywood actors. You acted in self-defense. Okay? You got off. Should have got off. But son, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. I know Kenosha is where you worked. I know it's where your father lives. That doesn't mean it's a great idea to go in the gun cabinet, grabbing a weapon, and trying to protect a town. It's not your spot. I know you're Mr. Eagle Scout and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know if he's an Eagle Scout. I just said that, but he wanted to help. I'm not saying that he's the guy in his mama's basement, but man, did they crucify that kid. All the way down in Brazil. They're talking about he shot 3 black individuals. No. They were white. White trash. So they were. Scumbags. Scum of the earth. Anybody who touches a child is the scum of the earth. You touch a child, you ruin that child for life. Okay? For life. But it is what it is. He shouldn't have been there, but he also shouldn't have went to jail because it was self-defense. Let's be honest. He's no hero. Nobody's a hero when they take somebody's life. Just because the 3 he shot was scumbags doesn't make it right. Okay? Just because somebody wanted to protest and wanted to ruin the stores, you just don't go shooting people. I know they were attacking you first, that's why it's self-defense, but come on, man. You got to pick your battles. When you're 17 years old, you're not a militiaman. Stay home. Let the professionals, let the police, the military, National Guard handle the situation. If you want to handle the situation so bad, you're 17 years old. Enlist in the reserves. Right? So that was going on. Get the trial in Georgia. Excuse me. And they have those 3 knuckleheads that shot a man, a black man, who was getting some order in a house. Citizen's arrest they try to make. Okay. You're making a citizen's arrest, 3 of you. Ex-law enforcement guys, a couple of them at least. And they shot a man. Shot a man over drinking water. Maybe he wasn't on public property. It was a private home, from what I assume. What gives you the right to kill a man? You don't. This isn't situations where, individuals are in the right. They're not. Listen, when I'm on this show, I call balls and strikes. Okay? Yes, I'm a conservative. That doesn't mean I can't see what's right and wrong. Correct? Yeah, of course that's correct. So those are some of the thoughts I've had. And when I was about to do the show. And then, last night when I was putting the show together, I see a red truck run down a Christmas parade. Run down a Christmas parade. Killing 5 and having 40 plus injured so far. Okay, so I hate to say this now, but you look, it's like rolling the dice. Is the person going to be white? Is the person going to be black, Chinese, Hispanic? Man was black. Why do I bring it up? Because when you watch MSDNC and CNN, who, by the way, their new owner, Discovery, in the big major deal, is keeping CNN and not spinning it off and promising to bring real journalism back to CNN. I'll believe it when I see it. But anyway, those networks didn't exactly show who the person of interest was. They'll never show it was a black person. Why? Because they are trying to get a specific audience. And unfortunately, that audience is running thin. So all they have is Trump on MSDNC and CNN. Hate Trump. Yep, it's all Trump's fault. It's still Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. The economy. The gas prices. I just heard gas prices are $7 in California. $7. Ludicrous. I mean, I am just blown away. I was like, $7 for gas? Why? Oh, because the pipeline was shut down. MSDNC, CNN, make an excuse every time for the Biden administration. Inflation, MSNBC, CNN. Again, might as well throw PBS on that. Our taxpayers, our taxpayer dollars, going to help these progressive, radical left moonbeams. The BLM crowd. I don't see BLM protesting right now. Right? Of course not. It doesn't fit the mainstream media's knowledge. It doesn't fit. They don't want a black man running over kids. Heck no. By the end of the week, that individual, and I'm not going to even say his name, is going to be whiter than white. Watch. Mainstream media got their own narrative. Mainstream media is actually worse now than it is in Russia and China. It's state-run media. The problem is the state's not telling the media to be that way. Well, maybe the Democrats are, but I guarantee when Trump was in office, they didn't follow through. They're all apologizing. Haven't you seen it? CNN's had to apologize. Washington Post, MSDNC. MSDNC, not that much. But you know what I mean. It's terrible. So that is about my 3 weeks worth of complaining. Or 2 weeks since the last podcast, so I just wanted to throw that in there. So we'll talk a little about current events again on the other side. Hi, thanks for being with me again. So, thanks for letting me vent. Thanks for letting me get caught up. One of the things I wanted to tell you guys, again, our video podcast will be coming up very, very soon. We have a couple of guests coming up next week, so I look forward to that. And like we were getting our fitting on the podcast, and one of the things I talked to Mr. Cavallo about, our producer Mikey Cavallo, is we talked about some of the things that we want to discuss in the podcast. We will want to be able to say, hey, let's just not have a conversation where we're just hitting one topic. So we're going to spread the topics around, and one of these days I'm going to not, just as it's like in rap, I'm freestyle rapping. Well, I'm freestyle podcasting right now. Sometimes you get a lot to say, you get some of this built up aggression and anger. You just want to let it out and tell people, hey, I'm not going to take this anymore. Well, that's my podcast today. I'm not taking it anymore. And, that actually sounds pretty good for a title. What do you think? So, we sit here today. I'm just stunned. How the media just doesn't know how to call balls and strikes. I was a CNN guy. I used to watch Robin Meade every morning on HLN. And I know she's a Republican, which is crazy. The only show that actually makes money over there on headline news. But, she's got, she has bosses. She has to read the news the way they write it. She's not making the copy. She's great. Sweetheart. I barely even watch her. I watch Newsmax and Fox and Friends. I don't care what anybody says, and I'm not going to defend Fox News because I will still never defend their election coverage. But let me tell you a little story. They are a lot more in the middle than any news organization. Fox News are terrible. Watch Fox News. Watch what their correspondents look like. They're a melting pot. Harris Faulkner is one of the best on the show. Watch her in the midday. Lawrence Jones, phenomenal person, phenomenal talent. Again, it's a narrative. If they don't like you, the MSDNCs and the CNNs try to be the bully on the block. You can't mess this thing up. You have to be due diligent. You have to say, no, I'm not watching you. I'm not watching you until you stop lying. CNN still talks about how the Russian dossier, it was mostly not true. Mostly the whole thing was garbage. The only thing they got right in that whole dossier is how to spell Trump's name. That was it. It's a joke. And all these individuals, I've seen evidence. It's true. You're such a liar. Total lies. Can't take it anymore. You know what? Unless you stop watching that stuff, they're still going to be there. They're still going to say their bitches and moans and groans, and what can you do? Nothing. Just put your foot down. Don't take it. It's not worth it. Well, anyway, that's just a little bit about what's going on right now. feel like I get a lot off my chest. And I thank you for listening. So we have a little bit of time. And I want to talk about a couple of things that are important this time of year. Because we're hitting the holidays. I hope to God families are starting to go back into the same room. Why? No, not because of COVID. I want people to go into the same room because you can stand each other again. Listen, it doesn't matter what your political opinions are. Does it really matter on a holiday? No, absolutely not. So you're going to spoil a holiday over politics. Not the time or place. Leave your politics out the door. Or should I say at the door. And have certain conversations. I mean, I can't even sit and stand some of the people in my family and listen to them. But you know what? I don't have to voice my opinion. I'm a funny guy. It's not going to change. And it's not my business to change somebody. They've got to learn. Yeah, I can basically spell it out on a podcast or a television show or some of my books. I bleed red, white, and blue. That's why, all last week I was working with protectourveterans.org. Protectourveterans.org. Working with individuals who want our veterans to flourish when they get back off the battlefield. Because it's really hard. I was working with that organization and love that organization. They work so hard to do so many good things. But you can't look at it that way. Because somebody say, oh, you're working for a veterans organization. Yes, I am. Why? Because they provide us with safety. Personally, I provided others with safety. And look what happened. We get abandoned in Afghanistan. Everything we worked for, every piece of ground we fought for, just goes away in one stroke of the pen by the Alzheimer's patient in the White House. Hey, listen, I more than anybody wanted to give Biden a shot. What the hell was I thinking? It's mind-blowing. You actually have somebody who doesn't even know his name in the White House. He's running the country. And the people who are in there know damn well he's not up for the task. Not up for the job. Now he's talking about running for re-election. He's 3 years away. I don't think he's going to be able to run for dog catcher by the time he starts to rerun for president. But that's just my personal opinion. So how do we start coming together? Fun podcast. Something that makes you laugh. Definitely one of the things I would do is make sure that I didn't lose anybody close to me because of this guy in the White House. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. It's like, why? Why is this particular individual going to take away my rights? He's going to make me get vaccinated. He's going to take away fossil fuels to cut jobs. But yeah, he says he brings in jobs. Ikudish. I don't even know what to say. So you know what I'm going to do? I'll keep quiet on that. And while I keep quiet on that, I have one of those deals where, I don't know what to say. The president is an Alzheimer's patient. And I know it's a terrible thing to say, but he doesn't have his fastball. He doesn't have his curveball either. Or his slider or his changeup. He's just doing it. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's one of those sessions where you just think, I'm here in the studio and just want to blow. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not going to sit here and be quiet. It just doesn't make sense. We're talking about our lives, the lives of our children. Don't get me started about going into schools. The United States government, its own DOJ. Craziness. Absolutely craziness. Well, friends, I'm going to be doing a couple of podcasts this week and going on a certain topic. I just still stick in my head saying all these things are going on in today's society. And what are we going to do about it? Are we going to let these groups get away with what they're doing? BLM, Black Lives Matter. Of course they matter. Every life matters. It's not just one person, everybody. Everybody matters to me. Because I love everybody. It just blows my mind how certain individuals get on that bully pulpit and start talking about one person or another. Makes no sense. We're a country that has laws. You can't change laws. Definitely can't change laws when you're sitting down and you're at a party, watching a fire go and sitting at the beach. It's just quite lovely. Right? The pride of America, our American soldiers. You think they give a rat's ass about BLM on the battlefield? But I guarantee without that battlefield, they really caring about what's going on in the military. We have campaigns going on, and we work so diligently to raise money to support our programs. It's just at a point where it's a head scratch. I just can't take it anymore. Again, we need to stop the bickering. We need to stop allowing politicians to make calls. Everything is global warming this, global warming that. Listen, I grew up, they told me an ice age was coming. Hand to God. I grew up and I was told an ice age is coming. No, you can't apply for any jobs over the summer from school. Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. It's crazy. Can't take it anymore. Can't take these individuals bullying guys like me. We're going to take our last break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk a little bit about that bullying. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We were talking about getting bullied. Seems like our episode keeps going back to getting bullied. Let me tell you, something happens when my kids are in peril. I don't care who it is, I'm smashing them. Right there, and then. I can't take it anymore. None of us can. We have sat and witnessed the breaking up of America. We're allowing China and Russia to do whatever they want. At the point where I just shake my head. I can't get that truck out of my mind as it just went down and just started plowing people over. I don't care if the driver was black, white, green, blue, whatever he was. Can't even breathe anymore. My chest is so broken up. That's, one of the things I try to get today is just, you can't be all vigilantes. You've got to work within the framework of the law to make it work. I'm mortified. Don't even know how to put it any other way but that. You sit here, and you sit with the beautiful women of the world, and then it all comes crashing down. Literally, it all comes crashing down. But I'll tell you this, there's always time to recover. You did. You did a good job. We're in for a fight still. If you let the mainstream media dictate what to do, what to say, you're going to end up with some very sorry folks in your life. So I'll tell you this. I'm going to bid everybody adieu. I'm going to tell I love my listeners. I'm going to tell them thank God for letting me vent this. But I'm mad as hell, and I'm definitely not going to take it anymore. Thank you.